So for the time being, we'll actually welcome Ajay Parge, Managing Director of Digital Arts VRE. Clyde DeSouza, RealVision. Pranav, Ashar, the CEO and founder of Enlighten. Welcome. And Gaurang, Shah, the VR Technologist, 360 VRX. Please. Welcome. So therefore, Clyde has kind of given us an insight already. So therefore, my first question about major areas of application of VR today will be from your personal experiences, maybe Ajay, Pranav, and Gaurang. Okay, so Ajay first.
I think major VR can go is in the entertainment industry, sports, live event coverages, even tourism, even pilgrimages are like major VR fields which I'm looking forward for.
Okay, so today, what kind of experiences, Pranav, you are sharing with your audiences when people come to your exhibitions? What do they expect?
We are essentially looking at art currently. We have taken up a space in Bandra in Mumbai where we do art showcases, and we partner with art companies specifically. The reason being usually very expensive art sells for more than 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs and above, original art. And these artists, these auction houses want to give more than a catalog or a piece of paper to the buyer who is actually buying it. And we look at very specific use cases to make, to imply VR where it can be implied. And art is our current focus. We started off with travel. Actually, we started off by working with the government of Rajasthan, where we shot across 10 cities. We worked with guides. As Clyde was talking about, making content dubbable. We worked with local guides to, kind of take us through the city. We worked with very basic technology, which was consumer technology, like a Ricoh camera, because that was not, we couldn't afford any higher set of cameras at that point of time. But I truly believe that keeping the budget in mind and keeping innovation first, there is immediate possibility of execution of ideas in VR, and it is very possible to do it today if you take specific industries and give specific layers of innovation to it.
Okay, Gaurang, your take on what kind of application you see in terms of the experiences, the interaction you have with VR?
We've been doing a lot of work with Bollywood.
Okay.
We've been shooting a lot of behind the scenes kind of videos. And now we are getting into promotions. As you would be aware, Hollywood is coming up with trailers and experiences, VR experiences for all the films, big films that they are making. And I see a very big market in that. Because after Hollywood, it is Bollywood. And we've been following whatever they have been doing.
Okay.
So I think VR experiences for Bollywood, for their promotions, trailers, and all that is what we are looking at right now.
Yeah. So Clyde, basically, it's clear that it is for the experiences, for the new dimension that, even like somebody watching Bollywood contents, somebody watching like any tourism movie, tourism documentary, getting deeper insights in dimensions which they didn't get before, is the kind of focus, focus on new experiences. So this is basically how, what is the interest, what is the focus of people who get in VR and people who are interested in VR, right?
Yeah, that seems to be the thing, but that's what, because a lot of people don't understand is that it is legacy compatible. So even though you make a tourism film and all that, the idea where VR probably is at kind of like a status thing now, it's in status or whatever it is because it's not, I mean, devices are not there, so no one wants to fund it. But once people start understanding, producers as well as you know, content creators, that you can have it both ways. It's like it's legacy compatible. You can have it as a normal film and in VR. It will encourage audiences to actually want to see the VR part. It's like, for example, you can watch a short film that has been made in VR, and the audience knows it's in VR. They can see that probably the killer or someone is, or Shah Rukh Khan is off screen out here, but we are looking at the main actress, but the girls want to look at him. So because the director has done the cut where you're actually seeing the actress in VR, the girls can turn around and watch, you know, the star out there.
Okay.
Plus it generates multiple viewings. So first it's a layback experience where I just want to watch the movie, and the second time around I want to interact with it. I want to look at it multiple ways. It's beneficial for brands who are putting branding in there, you know, in the thing. It's just like getting more value out of it. So the content, although yes, immersive, and right now it's for traditional stuff, like, or what I'd call traditional, like tourism and real estate and stuff like that. There's no reason why it needs to be that. It should go in full-fledged right now.
Okay. Maybe today, like in India, where do you see VR? Do you see VR applied like for commercial purposes a lot? Do you see that to promote a product, or how do you see this prospect, whether existent or coming?
I think VR has a very strong, very positivity. Like if you experience any VR experience, so you are totally immersed inside. So for example, if you are promoting a movie, just what Clyde was mentioning. So right now the promotions of movie are just happening through YouTube or anything, a very traditional way. But you need to come out of that tradition, need to think in a new way. For example, you are like experiencing, you are like part of that movie, and feeling like you're there and things are happening around you. That makes like the personalized experience. So person and VR experience are like very close to the memories. So person once experience those, he will never forget those. If you see a YouTube video, you might forget, but if the content is right in VR, you will never forget. The memories are very strong in VR. So I think the promotions is one of the thing. Another major sector for which even we recently worked with Gujarat Tourism, just like Pranav was mentioning that did. So it's like the tourism sector. We did few their sites converted into VR. Like if you're planning to visit any site, like Rani Ki Vav in Gujarat, like if you go there and if you look at that Rani Ki Vav, you might not like that because that might not be your taste or something like that. But if you experience that in VR, just a glimpse of maybe a 2 minute or 3 minute, and then you can decide, okay, this is something my liking, I would like to go there. So that makes real sense. And Gujarat Tourism is already using it. They're using it at Vibrant Gujarat also for promoting this type of things.
Okay. So how do you see, Pranav, the access within the recent years? How do you see that VR contents, VR device has become more accessible? Because at a moment in time, you know, if you had one particular phone, then only you could actually be able to experience that. Now it is opening up. So how do you see this progression in terms of you know, democratizing, if you could say, the access to VR?
See, VR essentially is going to be meant for very immersive. Even as Clyde showed us that, you know, it is social. It will bring people together, etc. But that part still will be taken care of by AR more so, because augmented reality is what will take up that part where, you know, where it will really get democratized, where people will be sharing spaces. It will be built on a physical kind of reality. Whereas for VR, it will be more like you going to a cinema, like, you know, you choosing that experience. You have to choose an experience in order to really live it. So that is what VR will take care of. But the layers of everyday life, like how mobile has become so democratic, that part I believe will be taken care of by AR, and virtual reality is too alienating for that kind of, you know, penetration, is what my belief is.
Yes, yes, Gaurang.
Uh, I think at the end of the year, Microsoft is coming up with their own MR devices. So that I think is going to revolutionize the entire virtual reality industry, because the entire Microsoft Office and the operating system will be operatable on VR. So a lot of things which we are already doing right now on computers will open up a completely new dimension in MR, because they are calling it the mixed reality. And they have this major vendors like Dell and HP and all that, and they are all going to come out with their own devices. So once that happens, I think you know, there will be a major proliferation of VR devices in the industry, and you know, a lot of people will be able to use that.
So from a Clyde, from a VR, yes, please, please, yeah, Adam.
Sometimes it's the definition of VR and AR that is so confusing, and now you know, people want to coin new terms. So there's XR. For me, it's VR if it's in a virtual world. If it's graphics or if it's stuff in the real world where I can see you and see that stuff, it's augmented, it's AR. So there's AR and there's VR. There's no XR or GR or VR. Anyways, the bottom line is to make a difference, for example, to really differentiate between AR and VR, think about this room right now. If you were sitting at home and you had a headset on and this was captured right now, like with a camera like that, with depth, then you would have, you're actually attending this conference in VR. If you knock down all the 4 walls of this room, and software can do that because you got your Google Tango or your other devices, and then you are actually watching this thing, what you would be seeing is you'd be seeing all these chairs and this dais in your living room, and that is AR. So there's not kind of like a big thing. VR is a virtual world. AR is taking this whole virtual content and putting it into context in your immediate environment. So, you know, that's what it is. In fact, Microsoft actually has, when we're talking about content and OTT, and from that perspective, Microsoft has a kind of like, you could call it a game, but you could call it a film also. It's like a short form murder mystery happening in your living room. So the characters are all filmed on green screen. And you know, because it's mapped to your house, you open up a closet and you get that person standing in there in the kitchen and saying, that person behind you is going to die. And you turn around and there's a person standing behind you. It's in augmented reality. But again, the same content can be in VR, where you just put the headset on. And at times, I want to escape real life. I want to be in VR. So when there's this debate of between AR and VR, AR will rule no. I don't want to see the pollution of Mumbai. I want to escape. When you go to the cinema, it's to escape. In VR, I could be anywhere, and I could, you know, build a world out there. So although I started off in AR in 2003, I'm seeing how VR is more appealing. It's like, you know, I don't want to walk down the street with glasses on in AR and get polluted by digital pollution now of ads and things popping up and stuff like that. Sure, I'll use it probably for directions in a new city, but I'd rather be in VR. To experience content which would be relevant to...
Ajay, how disrupting is experiencing VR? I mean, from the experience you every day provide to people, and how disrupting it is, and is everybody really kind of, you know, this is always the kind of question. Some people would say, oh, I'm scared, scared of heights, scared of everything. So how is your experience about that?
For this answer, it is very important to understand how VR is shot. See, the most important thing is about the content, how you are shooting the content. It is not that you just took a 360 camera and shoot anywhere. It is not at all like that. If you shoot in the wrong way, because what happens when you wear a headgear device, you are actually cheating your brain. You're cheating your brain to feel like you are there. You're physically here, but you are there basically. And if you start moving your cameras or moving something which is not natural, so your brain will start giving signals that something is wrong. So that makes you motion sickness. That gives you motion sickness.
Okay.
That person will immediately remove the device. And as I told you, it is very close to the memory. The person once get that bad VR experience, he will never wear a VR device again in his life.
Okay. So
because it is very, very personal. So you are shooting the content how you are creating is very important, very vital. Because if the content is not right, the people will not at all accept the VR.
Okay. So basically, Pranav, making a VR movie is not like making any video, any content like that, which anybody can make.
Yes, it is just like I'll just give you an example. I was in Calcutta looking at all the Tagore paintings and literature, and they were also showing a film by Rabindranath Tagore. It was nowhere close to where his art or literature was, because it was a completely different form. It requires a completely new set or a new way of looking to make make virtual reality experiences. They are not cinema. They are not you cannot take a certain piece of art and certain form and kind of put it in a certain in another form, and it won't always work.
Just for the sake of kind of.
Sorry?
It's not like you're making something just for the sake of.
Yeah, no, it is a completely new form. It is a completely new form. It doesn't have cuts. It doesn't have that square which you are making things for. It does require extremely. I'll just give you an example. We are working on an M.F. Hussain painting right now. Okay, we are taking that painting, which is going for auction in the coming month. We are building that entire painting into a VR experience, and to see it, to enter that painting is not making that painting itself. It's a completely new dimension.
Yeah.
What he said is right. Yeah.
Okay. So as you are already connected with the contents created for Bollywood, do you see the prospect for filmmakers to eventually go and produce films in VR in Bollywood?
Yeah, that is already happening.
Okay.
I think they are the earliest adopters of this technology. I think they are spearheading the best experiences that are available right now, globally also. I think entertainment films are something that everybody enjoys, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just medical or aerospace or something like that. So I think best work is being done for films.
Okay.
And Hollywood is leading in that. They have done things like making you walk on the moon and the Mars and all that. So and these are very realistic experiences.
Okay. Yeah. So in terms of the content experience that it can create, do you see a lot? Because if you compare with broadcasting, I mean, we already see VR in broadcasting in some US countries, like you see the NBA, we see like some ceremonies being like in VR. So this is basically clearly a prospect for broadcasting. Do you see it adopted by other countries and other broadcasting in broadcasting field?
Yeah, so it definitely is being done. I'm not a big fan of what's being done because it's two-step. One is like there is not enough bandwidth right now to actually broadcast VR live. So why do it? I mean, it's a 360 video. 360 video is not VR according to me. Like, for example, that's a 360 camera. It's great that it's capturing this thing, but it's not VR. If you put it on a headset and watch it at home, you're not going to feel like you're in here. It's going to be like video pasted onto the insides of a sphere. So for once, I'm going to look 6 feet tall or 20 feet tall. And that's not right. That's not right. But when it comes to broadcasting and stuff, it is there. It's going to be there. So there are, like, the NBA games have been done. It's evolving. It's not the best experience right now, but people are doing it. Now, what's important is the people who've come out here they've come in from, okay, the whole thing is about VR and OTT and can it be done? Yes, it can be done. Scripted narrative, for example, people are learning a lot. One of the things that a lot of filmmakers believed was that when you're shooting in 360 a movie, you have to go and hide because it's seen everywhere. Now slowly they're realizing you don't have to hide because the front one, that's a 360 camera there. It's got a lens that's capturing 180 in front and 180 behind. Unless it's a documentary on National Geographic or something which you need to capture the whole environment at one go, in a scripted movie, you shoot the first 180 and the director and the whole crew can be behind you. and then you turn it around and you shoot that when they're out of there. So thought processes are evolving. It's not rocket science. It's like, you know, you can do it, and it should probably do it. You can do it if you can, so do it now if it fits in with your story. But the good thing to learn is that it is backward compatible. So you got something right now to pull out of, and you future-proofed it for multiple times, so the same content can actually generate more revenue for you.
There is a company called Next VR, which is doing a lot of work with sports. So they are having multiple cameras in a stadium and, you know, in a playground, and the viewer can decide which camera to look from, and they get a much richer experience than watching it on TV.
Yeah. Any question from the audience on this topic? Yeah. Please. Yeah, you just by use maybe. Okay.
My question is for sir.
Put it on it.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. As you were saying that VR is legacy compatible. It is compatible that you can also turn old videos into VR experience. So currently I am into a post-production phase of a first point of view film in India. So we shot on 6K, and the framing is like normal traditional film. So after watching it, I thought it could have been a VR film. But no, right now, how can we convert it to
There's a difference. When I say it's legacy compatible, I meant start shooting with VR in mind, and you can pull off an HD or even a 2K print out of that for cinema, for TV, for cable TV, as well as for your mobile phone. Right. Not the other way around.
Right.
There is a way to do that if you're actually, because like when you talk about Hollywood right now, nothing is almost shot with principal photography. It's all layers. You know, everything is green screen. You've got different layers. Even a movie like Bahubali.
Right.
So if they would think they could possibly, I'm not saying it could, it is, but maybe they could have a whole version in VR which has got these layered content, so they can recreate the background scene, and they could put these pieces in place to make it 360. But directly, you can't really stretch it out now.
The scale will be
no, it's just going to look weird.
All right.
Okay. Any other question? Yes. Avanish.
How is VR different than AR? When I say different, what we see is AR as the next step for VR. Is that true?
No. VR is when you wear the headset and you are cut off from the real world. So you see only what you are being shown within the headset. Okay, that in AR you see something which is computer generated, superimposed on the live picture that you see through the glasses in your real environment. So that's typically the difference between VR and AR.
Yeah, thank you. So there are a lot of applications. When I say applications, going beyond movies and media entertainment content, there are a lot of industrial applications that are looking towards AR, and they call AR as the next big thing for doing industrial work. You know, like a worker in a factory doing a lot of stuff for which he probably needs to train. So you take him back like a flight simulator and train him in a room and then send him back to the field. So do you guys see this thing eventually transforming into an AR industry usable stuff, or this is going to remain tied to the movie and the entertainment business?
Yeah.
Actually, the question is right. We are right now working on a couple of projects where exactly what you are mentioning is the requirement. The AR, where a remote person is sitting somewhere in Bangalore and he's operating, and there is an issue somewhere in Bhopal, and he's wearing a VR device and he wants to AR device and he wants to access that device and he wants to see superimpose things, and which that person in Bhopal can manipulate all those things. But I think the AR devices are yet to get mature enough. They are still in like the infant stage. Everything is in R&D stages. Whatever the videos which are like floating are all like, I think those are not the right videos which are floating right now regarding the AR. In reality, the AR devices are yet to mature enough.
Okay. I think we'll wrap up this panel here, but just to be able to take on board the other panel. Thank you very much, because we here have to thank a special thanks to you all, because Ajay, Pranav, and Gaurang in particular, they actually showcased their contents. They actually, partnered with us to showcase their content. It was really, very nice of you, and we really thank you a lot.